Hey, my little cupcakes. I have a great story today. Tidy. That means to clean up. Deep in the forest lived a badger named Pete, who tidied and cleaned and kept everything neat. He tidied the flowers by checking each patch and snipping off any that didn't quite match. He tidied the fox by grooming his fur. He untangled each knot and each twig and each burr. He tidied the birds from the big to the small by brushing their beaks and then bathing them all. So he's always tidying up everything. The flowers, the fox, all the birds. He was always cleaning up. He picked up every stray stick. He swept and he rubbed. He polished the rocks and he scoured and he scrubbed. Look at him in the forest cleaning up everything, picking every twig, cleaning. So when the leaf fell, I wonder what he's going to do. Look at all the leaves falling off for fall. Poor badger, I bet this will make him a little upset. Pete tidied up, but still he wasn't happy. Now the trees looked bare and scrappy, and so to make it all look neat, Pete undertook a mighty feat. Look at all the bags of leaves he has, but he still didn't like the way the trees looked. I wonder what he's going to do, you guys. He dug up every single tree. Oh my goodness. Pete's gone crazy. But then it rained. There was a flood. There was a huge flood. Look at Pete in his inner tube with his umbrella. There was a huge flood. And afterwards, a lot of mud. Look at that, all the mud from all the rain. Pete called in the diggers, he called in the mixers. He called in the concrete, the rakers, the fixers. So he called in to have concrete laid in the forest. No mud, no leaves, no mess, no trees. Perfectly tidy and perfectly neat. This forest is practically perfect, said Pete. So he put concrete down all over the forest. So no trees, no mess. I'm hungry, he thought. I deserve a treat. So he hunted around for something to eat. But the beetles and worms that he usually found were under the concrete, deep in the ground. So Pete decided to go home instead. If he couldn't have dinner, he'd go straight to bed. But when he arrived and took out his key, there wasn't a door where the door used to be. He covered it all with concrete so he couldn't find his home. The door was even covered with the concrete to his house. Later that night, Pete tossed and he turned. His belly was empty, it rumbled and churned. As he lay in his mixer, wide awake, he started to think, I have made a mistake. So he was in his concrete mixer that was empty, and he was hungry. And he said, I've made a mistake. I wonder how he's going to fix this. The very next morning, when it got light, he set about trying to put everything right. Look at him breaking up the concrete with a pick. He said, I got to fix this. Then the animals came from the strong to the weak, and they lent him a paw or a claw or a beak. He's got to put the forest back in order. They put the trees back in the ground, trying to get everything normal. They put everything back as it always had been, but maybe less ordered and not quite as clean. And Pete, he promised to tidy up less, but if he succeeded is anyone's guess. So he promised he would clean up less or tidy up less, but if he managed to do that, that's anyone's guess. The end. Hope you liked it.